Hello, hello, hello. It's Anne Lewis, your independent Stamping Up demonstrator, based on the Sunshine Coast here in Queensland, Australia. Today, I've got an exciting project or projects, to be honest, and it's using our DSP, which, as you know, I'm a little in love with all stamping, well, most of Stamping Up's designer series paper. They're just stunning papers and they work in so many different ways. And I'm going to show you another way of using it today. Now, I'll put you down at the desk so you can actually see the project. Hi, Lynette, how are you? So you can actually see the project. But before I do, there's a couple of things I've got to remind you whilst everybody comes on. The first one is that the last chance sale started today. So there's a whole lot of new items uh, on last chance. So the majority of them are discounted, but not all of them. But I think I worked it out that there are 384 products in the last chance sale. So many great bargains. So you just look through and see what you're looking for. The next thing is paper pumpkin, and I know I did a presentation last week on paper pumpkin. So you're looking for some further information on it, check out my last live or my live from last Wednesday. Now it's available here in Australia. You can now order it and it will arrive. You can now order. It's the April kit that you can now order. And it'll arrive at the end of the month. Now you can do a 3, 6, or 12-month subscription, or you can just go month to month, whatever works for you. There are links in my on my Facebook post today, and I also send out all those links in my newsletter. If you haven't signed up for my newsletter, do so. Send me a message, and I can send you the link. What else do I have? New kits also dropped today. So they're available from my online store. And also, just as a reminder, I'll just come over here, the new catalogue I have, and also my packs of catalogues have arrived, so I'll be sending them out soon. As you can hear, that poor little cat of mine, Kiko, is doing it so tough. She has to tell me and you how tough she's going. So hopefully she will settle, but probably not. She just knows you're here, Glenda, and welcome. Right now, let's put you down. Yes, did you see that? Let's put you down on the desk. Right now. Oh, that's not the desk. This is the desk. Right now. So here we go. So these are the cards, and I can see Kiko's roaming the desk, which is, to be honest, quite unusual unless I'm doing a live. Now, so I'm going to show you how to do this gorgeous background and give you lots of design tips and tricks, and then how I made the second card as well. So let's get started. Now, I did include the measurements, so let me know if you're crafting along with me. Okay, so the first thing is I've used Secret C, as you can probably see here. And if you've been watching me for a while, you'll know that I love Secret C. So I'm going to do the two card bases. They're both the same size, so 4 1/8 by 11 inches. Whoops, nearly did the cutting. I'll grab the other one that is sitting here and do that as well. Now, if you haven't got your stuff cut out, that's okay. You can watch it now, and then you know how it all comes together and be able to make it a little later. So, hi, Marianne. Hi, Isabel. Welcome. Good to see you. And hi, Rhonda. There's lots of new people here today, which is good. Now, that might be because I posted these two cards, which we did at my class last Sunday. And I just posted photos, no instructions, no nothing, and they went wild. So many people looked at them, left a comment, and said they wanted to know how to make them. So I thought I should get in and make them. Now, so I'm just going to need one piece of basic white cardstock. And I'm not sure, I can't remember how big I cut these right now. Some of them are cut quite big. And this is what I'm going to adhere my strips to. Now, I've already cut my strips. I'll just throw them on here. Now, I just went to my paper scraps which I had quite a few to be honest, from the Florals in Bloom. Now, I really like this paper, but I've used it a fair bit. So, if you look at the sheets, some of them have a direction. They all have what I would call an A side, which is the floral, and a B side, which is the pattern paper. Look at the colours of these. They're just gorgeous. And I love these. And some of the dies from the bundle actually cut out some of these images. And just look at them. I love, love, love. I love these colours. Oops. Love this one in particular, which I didn't think I would. And you can see I've got a few bits and pieces still left. I've cut these out so I can die cut them. Now I've already done most of my die cutting. There's one piece I couldn't do yet. Put this back. Now this is from the annual catalogue, so you will probably find this paper in the last chance sale. Well, I'm sure you will find this in the last chance sale. Okay, so how am I going to do this? Now, so as I said, there's an A side and there's a direction on these, on the floral ones, and there's a B side. So have I got some more of this paper here somewhere? I think that's it. And that's the back of it. So for me, nearly always, there's always an exception to every rule, is I will go, as you see, a B side, A side, B side, that's actually a B side as well, but it's floral. B side, A, B, B, A. So I've also gone, so I've swatched, made sure I don't have all florals, that I've got some patterns as well. But I've also gone the best I could, dark, light, dark, light, dark, light, dark, light, down the page. Now, I put this up the top wholly and solely because it's secret C and it matches my cardstock. Rightio, so let's go. Now, the best thing I can recommend is you just lay them out at the start. You'll need about 12 or 13, depending on how wide you cut them. Now, I gave you a few different options here. Now, I will probably change some of these around because, as you see, I'm just plucking around. Yeah. And I use my now this one here matches the die cut that I'm using. So I want to make sure it's down the bottom where it can be clearly seen. There is no right or wrong for this. Oh, yeah, I might put that there. That there. What else have I got here? Well, this little grey one I haven't used yet. And I haven't used the other side of that yet. Now, I've got kind of all thick ones at the top, so I'm going to change that out because it looks nicer for me, visually more pleasing for me, as I would say, to have them larger, smaller, different sizes. Otherwise, it gets a little boring. I'm going to drop that down. What else have I got here? Seem to run out of colours here. Now, there's obviously... have run out of colours. But anyway, we'll put that there. See, I got the leftovers of what wasn't used at the class. That's what happens. So I'll put that one up there. Actually, I want that one still down. That one up. Doesn't take long, to be honest. And if you agonise over this too long, I just haven't got a lot of choices here. I'll put that one there. And what else have I got? Now, what I do recommend is the bottom one overhangs here. Otherwise, you're going to have a little bit of white space. It's really hard to glue on. So you want a bigger piece, maybe that piece. Actually, what do I want here? That might be able to go there. Run out of ribbon, strips actually. I know, so we might, it's only a small piece. What have I got here? You might put that just down the bottom here and we'll see. Now, what, as you can probably see, and I'll just show you this up close, I've left a little bit of white space between each one. Now, what you've got to make sure of is these stay straight. So that's what grid paper is for. If you don't have grid paper, draw some lines on a piece of paper. And what I should do is use my grid paper. Now, it doesn't really matter. I'm going to, don't worry how it looks at this stage, because to be honest, it doesn't matter. Now, on Sunday, I was gluing the card base, the basic white. Today, I'm changing it up a little bit. Ooh, I just noticed that this hasn't been cut real straight, but let's just see if I can get this straight. Yep, that's looking pretty straight. Right. So you can see this goes pretty quick. Now I have cut my strips a little longer than my paper because it makes it a little easier. Make sure you keep it nice and straight. Who else? Has anyone else come on? Leave some comments. Let me know. Now, originally I was going to do this on acetate. Then I changed my mind and thought I can actually get 2 cards done. Now I'm trying to keep my white space between each one identical. But to be honest, nobody's going to notice if it's not perfect. Now, I would always use green glue or multi-purpose glue, whatever you call it, because it gives you a little bit of wiggle room. Now, there's so many of our papers that this would work with. And really, it's a great stash buster. Having trouble with that tonight, aren't I? I might put this one down a little lower. Let's see. Just got to straighten it up again, make sure I'm on track. I know. You don't want to put too much glue because it'll squish out absolutely everywhere. And then you have to deal with cleaning up some of that glue, which you definitely don't want to do. Let's do this one. As I said, you can just, which is what I had been recommending, applying the glue to the cardstock. Now let's put this in here, this one. And this is going to, oh, I don't know that that's going to fit. It's already cut. And pick that up. I know, so this is the one that matches my beautiful die cut. So the die cut, all I've done is die cut some of the paper out. So I get that beautiful image. Let's see how we go here. As I said, you don't worry about how this looks until it all comes together. Now, this piece here. What does everybody do with their strips? How do you use them? Or are you a little like me and throw them out? I'll just move this down just a bit. Only got a little bit more to go. And yes, that is your, well, I say your cat, Glenda. Because Glenda always sticks up for Kiko. On this occasion, I'll just put a thin bead across here. This is going to hang over, so I'll be cutting it off. I know. Oh, I put the wrong side down, but it'll be fine. Now, one of the ladies on Sunday got hers to look really muted using exactly the same papers that I used, and I absolutely loved it. I really did. Now I'm going to grab a pair of big scissors. I'm not going to cut this piece off yet. I'm just going to give it a little bit of time to dry. So I'll work on the others. Now I just turn it over. It's easy to line up then. And you'll see how much nicer it looks once you cut these off. In fact, it looks stunning. I'll come down here. Big scissors work better for this job. But if you've only got our paper snips, they're perfect. In case you haven't heard the news, our paper snips are coming back. You've just got to wait a couple more, a little while. I don't actually know how long. They've already arranged them, but they haven't appeared in maybe June or maybe the next catalogue, not the new one coming up, the next one. Right. Let's get rid of these while I can. They'll be in the way. Cat gone. That's a good thing. Much as I love her, it's a little hard doing craft stuff. I know, so let's bring this over. Just want to cut this off here. Look how pretty that is. Now it's completely different than this one here. The only thing same is that. But you can see there's so much flexibility with it. So now the next thing I have to do is pull out my cut and emboss machine because I'm going to cut this circle here. Now, I recommend you cut it in the top, further to the top, not in the center, because if you try cutting it in the center and you don't get it perfect, it looks a little off. And there's always tips and tricks. Let's just make sure. So I've got the number 1 platform, number 2 platform, and 2 of the plates. Yeah. Let's get one without as many, it hasn't done as many cuts. So it's a little cleaner. So I always keep, I know it doesn't look great, but it's better. I always keep one as a top plate, which has been used less, because it then doesn't leave any impression on it. Now I'm just going to put this over so you can see. Out of the way. Actually, what I'm going to do is clean a bit of a space up. Now I'm using stylish shapes. These are my every time favorite dies. So you've got square dies, round dies, and some sentiment dies, and they've got that beautiful stitching. You see me use these every week. So if you only have one set of dies, or you're just starting out, they're the ones to get. Now, I have carried over for the next catalogue. Oops, sorry. Let's get this. So I just use it as a hinge, hold it down, make sure I'm happy with where it is. And of course, I've got the handle on this side. Let's do something a little more sensible and put the handle on this side. Because as you know, I have a lot of trouble with my wrists and arms. I've had a few accidents, which is a bit sad. But it's still craft, that's the important bit. Whoa, hitting everything here. So I didn't put it through twice, so I'm hoping this cut out. Yes, it did. Look at that. Now you can see my two pieces. All right. So I'm going to have it up here because I said I'll put that on the top. Now, where's my cards? Oh, no. So here's the card. Now, I've just got to, I'm going to grab my card base. This is a secret C, as I said before. It's like, oops. My camera always gets in the way a little bit. So this is then going to sit there. Now, I can actually see I've cut this a little bigger than I need to, so I can trim this down. Now, I've done that so I get that really, really nice edges, but you don't have to. If you stick to my measurements online, you'll have no trouble. So I'm just going to go over. I want it 3 7/8. So I'm just taking an 16th off each side. And hopefully you can see how nice then. See how your edges are really nice compared to that side? We'll just bring this back here. Oh, I didn't take enough off that. I've got to take a little bit more. A little bit more off that, and then I can bring this back. So if you don't want to recut, you can just make your basic white cardstock. 3 7/8 by 3 7/8 by 5 1/4. Sorry. Now I'm just going to trim this to 5 1/4. So you can see how neat and tidy that now looks. Now I need another piece, a little smaller than that. So I've just gone for each of the pieces all the same, but I need to trim this down. So you can see how gorgeous that is going to look. I need this slightly smaller than this piece. So I'm going to do 3 3/4 wide. It's a bit by 5 1/8. And that just gives it so that white layer is not poking through anywhere. So it's slightly smaller. Now, I want to pop this up onto here. Right, you can see how it's slightly smaller. So I want to pop this layer up using dimensionals. I'll bring out my dimensionals. Make a bit of space here. Where's my... Put some of these dies away before I lose them. I always walk on my desk. I know, so you can see it's smaller. I need to pop it up with none of those little pieces sitting over. You can see that just was a bit wet there, so I didn't cut on the trimmer really well. I'll just trim that last little bit off. You can see how beautiful those edges are because I did use the trimmer. Now, before I do anything else of popping it up, I want to stamp. So see this, just a little hello. Now, if you were making this card and you were using this stamp or even a smaller stamp, see, I've picked a big one so it will work and fill in some of that space. You want to make sure you drop it down a little bit. You don't want it right up here, or otherwise you're going to have a huge white space. But you've got to be a little creative in how you're going to fill that in. So I'm dropping mine down just a bit, not too much, because I've got this that's going to sit there. So I can put that in as a bit of a practice so you get an idea of where it should go. And I'm putting it over to the right because that big flower balances this card. Now, how easy was that? So let's now pop this layer up. Where's some of my head out? Sitting exactly where they should. Now, to keep this supported, you're going to need quite a few dimensionals. And as all my so-called friends would say, are dimensionals on sale this week because you don't want this to collapse. So when that sits like that, that's okay. But I also need some around the edge of this piece. And you'll understand why that works. Remember, this is smaller than that piece. There's not a lot of room at the side. Might have those up a little high, but that'll be okay. I know, so let's take all these off. You can see this is a pretty quick card, especially when you're not explaining everything, you're just zipping into it. And I've got to say, it's a really enjoyable card. Hope you're not. Hi, Glenda. Welcome to this Glenda 2. I know, let's do this the quick way. All right. Now remember, I want the short side at the top. So let's line this up. Make sure there's no overhang. Yep. I know. If there is a little overhang, you could cut a little bit of it off if you needed to. I know. So let's pop it onto here. I know. Now I'm not going to pop it up too much, so just some green glue. Oh, I'm going crooked here. Just some green glue on this. I don't know why my green glue runs out. I know I use it a lot, but I always seem to pick up the empty one. And so I'm just putting in the middle, get rid of those. Now, remember I've still got this piece. Now I'll put my little, well, my beautiful flower that I die cut. Now I'm putting this flat. I'm just going to run a bead of liquid glue around there, just enough to hold it. Now I don't want any glue up here because I'm going to slide, if you see this, some little green leaves on it. And you get to choose how you want to line that up. Now my little green leaf, I've already die cut. And I'll show you where they come from. because they actually come from the bundle that goes with this. So the bundle is called Pretty Floral. And so they're these little leaves here. That's the die that I used to cut out the flower from the DSP. And that's the little green leaves. Now, I'm also used another one on here. Oh, and this one here for the card too. So I kept it fairly easy. Now, I could have used some adhesive sheets on this, but as long as I clean that lid off a bit. I find green glue is quicker, easier. I'm not going to put a lot on. I'm just going to put a few dots on. And then I'm sliding it down here. So under there. Stick it down. Now, just want to show you this. If you're new to card making, you may not be able to see it, but there's a little edge of my circle. I want to hide that, so I'm going to slide this over a bit. Just makes it look a little finished, a little more finished. A little hot under these lights. We're getting to autumn. We've started some cooling down. When I have all the studio lights on, it does get a little hot. And then I'll just slide this one under here. And you can see I left a bit of a space for that. And again, I just put it around the edge. Hi-ho. So there's the card. That's the outside of the card. Now the inside, I just kept dead plain because it's just a little hello. So it could be for birthdays. I'm looking for my right size here. Could be for birthdays. It could be for anything. Now, what I do have is some of these left over. So let's add a little bit of some, only because I've got them left over. I know. I'm putting them on before I glue it down because it's a little easier. I didn't mean to. So this will just tie together. Oops, on this side. Tie together the front with the insert. Haven't got any big pieces, but this will. So I just stamp it with happy birthday or whatever. So I've done all the hard work because I've already made the circle for the next one. I know. So you could do that however you want. As I said, I haven't got many left. And then just get my scissors again. Cut that off from this side. And again from this side. Now if you're watching, wait a minute, I see a comment way up here. Glenda hoards her pieces of her scraps. I have to say, I used to hoard them. I used to treat them like gold. And then I got overwhelmed with the clutter and trying to get rid of all these pieces and have been, actually I've been donating them to a kindergarten because they are happy with any, supposedly, so they tell me, any size of scraps, and they make cards with them, do some abstract art. So how pretty is that? So you can see I've just made it a little fancy. Just reading the comments. So how nice was that? And really, the Designer Series paper has done all the hard work. So here's my next card, and it comes together pretty darn quick. Now, so same size, 4 1/8 by 11 inches. And if I come back to wherever that second card is, over here, you'll see, oops, that I've actually embossed this. And I'm using one of my favourite embossing folders, which is a March online exclusive. I'm sure you can see that. So let's run through. Now, sometimes your embossing folder will change the size of your paper because it raises it up, and sometimes it'll do it in one direction more than another direction. So you sometimes got to be a bit careful, and you may have to trim it down. Let's grab my cut and emboss machine. Be careful with it. I'll grab my different plates this time. I'm going to be using, this is a 3D embossing folder. So I'm going to be using the embossing plate and also just platform one. Oops, sorry everybody. Just knocked you out of the way. Now I need this a little straighter. And just in case you didn't know that this is what this is for, see that line on that embossing folder, that black line? That just helps you line everything up. Put it like that. I want to put this edge, which is the fold, in first because that looks after my embossing folders. This is a bit harder on my wrist. I'm sorry. Whoa, camera shake. Don't worry about the noise. That's just how it's meant to be. What tough machines. So let's get rid of that. Look at this. Isn't it gorgeous? So, 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 so gorgeous. Now, this is going to, where's my card? It's warped. Oh, it's over here. So I can just stick this directly down. I'm not popping it up because I have to say, if I send cards overseas, they don't like too much dimension on them. I've noticed they'll accept one layer of dimension, but if there's more than one, we're in trouble. You can see how quick this card is going to be. I know. And if you're going to make multiples of these cards, which you easily could, I'm going to put that like that, so it's not upside down. Again, I'm putting it towards the top of the card. I'm grabbing my dimensionals again, which have warped. Don't need as many this time. Such a simple card, but it looks like you spent hours on it. You just need that matching paper. Let's tidy up a little bit. Who else finds the white backing? I think that's the right way. One in the middle. Should have put a little one in the middle. But I didn't. Now I did already die cut a little leaf. So that's that leaf there. Remember, it comes from the Pretty Florals dies here. So it's that one there. I love, actually, these are so good for just adding some little twigs, leaves, whatever you want to call them. You add too many, they'll turn into trees. Now, again, I'm not going to add too many. And for my sentiment, I could have stamped a little sentiment block. But I thought I'll just, you know how much I like our ephemera packs. So my sentiment this time, I'm going to just put it so it overhangs a little bit. Just to give it a little. Now, I'm going to use Happy Birthday this time. So I hide, you can see this, I've got a little bit of stem there. It's actually a really nifty way of hiding that stem, just to tidy things up. So I don't want to put this, I don't want to do that. I want to put this flat onto here and only pop up the ends. So I really did that the wrong way. So I'll just add 2 dimensionals, which will keep it level with this. I know. Now, I've got no more strips left on the inside, but we might work something out. So I'll just put that there, and those little mini dimensionals at the either end support it up. So how gorgeous is that? Completely different paper. Well, same DSP, but different design. So let's throw some paper on the inside. I know. Here's my one sheet left. It's a big sheet, so I'll cut it down. So I would cut this so it kind of matches the front, 3 7/8 wide and 5 1/4. I know. No, I think you should try and put a little embossed piece on this. Let's see. Now, I don't want to do a lot of it. So this is just another way that you can. So I'm going to put it in a fair way, but hopefully not emboss all of it. So it takes a little bit of, want it nice and straight. Oh, perhaps I got to put the embossing folder on it. Where were my helpers? They're normally onto me. Here we go. So I haven't got it in very far, and it may only do a little bit if I'm smart. Doing this around the wrong way. It's a little cramped to do all this. So it's I think that's does a little bit at the bottom. Let's see what it looks like. I'll just show you in a second. I'll clean a bit of space out. So, sorry, that just fell off. I'll just lift this up a bit. And I'll show you what this looks like. So there's my little emboss bit. I'm going to put that on the bottom. Now, I've got to say, because it's partially, some of it's not as embossed as perfectly as the other bit. Look what I have down the bottom here. I've got some of the cardstock that I cut off. So let's cut down a little strip. This is just how you finish things off. Everything doesn't have to go exactly as you think it's going to. So let's put that just across there, and all of a sudden it's going to look a little more finished. So I'm just going to put that right to the edge. Then I can just add whatever sentiment I like a little later. But I've got a nice little finish on the inside. Where are my scissors? Glue hasn't dried yet. And that's the cards. So what do you think of these cards? Are you going to make them? Because it's so easy. And I mean, you could use a punch. There's so many different ways you could use this design. You can see how nice that now looks. Rightio. So I'll show you the two cards I've just made today. Now, to be honest, I can't tell which ones. These are the two today. So they're a little different, just a little different than the ones before. So how easy. You don't have to have a lot of supplies. You could use any embossing folder on these. You could use any sentiments strip here. I just loved, and I didn't show you what I got them from. Greetings for all mix and match ephemera packs. It is just full of pop out, so I don't have to stamp. The other thing it means, I don't have to have every sentiment stamp. It has Mother's Day, it has Happy Halloween, it has Valentine's Day, it has Merry Christmas, it has all those generic thinking of you, Happy Birthday, Happy St. Pat's Day, Sweet Baby, all those sentiments. And I just keep going to this set over and over and over because they look absolutely, and I mean, this is today's, stunning. And it just really pops. Oh, Rhonda, thank you. Rhonda's been crafting. So did you get through all of it? I'm so glad. Now, if you don't mind, Rhonda, can you post a photo in this chat so we can see how your card turned out, because it's always lovely seeing how different paper. What paper did you use? Which designer series paper did you use, or pattern paper? Doesn't have to be. Card will work for anything. Rightio. Now, don't forget, all these supplies are available from my online store, which is Anne's Paperworks, all one word, .com.au/shop. It's actually on my Facebook page. It's also on my YouTube channel. Thank you. Fruits. Oh, great idea. I look forward to seeing it. Anyone else made a card along with me? So thank you so much. We had lots of people watching. And I had a fun time. I love, love, love this card. And to be honest, it's not a difficult card. And I find on some Wednesday nights I'm a little brain dead by the time I get to here. This just was so, so easy. So thanks, everybody. I will see you next week with another project. I have no idea what the project will be. Oh, actually, I might. I might have an idea. But anyway, thank you so much for joining me. Don't forget, I have an online store, and also the links on the actual video. And hopefully you have a safe and happy Easter. I'm going to take a bit of time off over Easter. I've got a birthday, and I thought I should take some time off and enjoy it with family and friends. Bye for now. Oh, wait a minute. I'll bring you back up to me. Bye for now. Have a fabulous Easter. Sending you all lots of love.